Good day, dear students. Today I'm going to present lecture topic multi-level training. And there are three issues I would like to reveal. The first one, multi-level learning is a pedagogical technology, organizing multi-level education at the university and the achievement in multi-level training. Multi-level learning is a pedagogical technology of organizing the learning process within the framework of which a different level of assimilation of teaching material is assumed. That is, the depth of complexity at the same teaching material is different in the groups of level A, B, and C. This division makes it possible for each student to master the teaching material on individual subject of the university program, in particular in a foreign language, at different levels of difficulty like A, B, and C, but not lower than basic, depending on the abilities and individual characteristics of the personality of each student. This is a technology in which the student forced to master this material and to apply it creatively and taken as a creation for assessing the student's activity. The topics prescribed by state education standard programs remain the same for all levels of education. The transition of a student from level to level is possible and practiced in painless, since the content topic is the same for all levels. We have defined in general terms what is meant by multi-level learning and what kind of learning differentiation lies at the heart of the organization of this pedagogical technology. Let us now consider in general terms of technology itself and the conditions of organizing multi-level education at university. The starting point when organizing multi-level education at a university is the intention of teacher to give each student a chance to acquire knowledge of the program not lower than the basic standard and organize training in such a way as to make the most of the opportunities that the differentiation of learning brings, not only internal but also external. Suppose that some students, while still at school, showed their abilities in the field of studying foreign languages or studied in specialized schools or classes with in-depth study of foreign language. But when they entered the university, they chose a different specialty. At the same time, they still show a desire to study and improve their knowledge of a foreign language, realize the need and importance of mastering it for free orientation in the modern information space to solve their future professional tasks in the context of bilingual communication. These students are highly motivated and clearly understand that knowledge of foreign language has become a significant personal and professional characteristic of a specialist. Other students also, not without abilities, either initially determined for themselves a priority orientation to special disciplines, or have weaker basic training, or do not understand the motivation for studying a foreign language at a university and as a result demonstrate only average knowledge of the subject. Still others realize that the subject foreign language is given to them quite difficult due to lack of knowledge and basic training or inability to perceive and master foreign language in general, and their interests lie in the mainstream of other disciplines. As a result, during the placements or maybe entrance testing of students, teachers can already quite accurately determine at least three groups of students with an orientation to different levels of proficiency in the language material. How can you organize multi-level education at university? First, of course, you need to check to what extent the self-esteem of the students corresponds to their true capabilities. It's for this purpose that placements on entrance testing is carried out at the basic level in accordance with the education standard. On the basis of this testing, as well as the questionnaires interviews with the students themselves, that is, taking into account their wishes. Groups A, B, and C are formed. The first group A reflects the basic level. In this group, the learners will study according to programs developed at the basic level in accordance with the requirements of the state education standard. Others will have to work on programs above basic. The question arises, how much higher? How and how should the complication of the program proceed? This is the first question that arises when trying to organize multi-level training. Therefore, it will be necessary to refer the content of training in this academic subject. Further, the problem of requirements for the level of knowledge of the studied material arises. If everything is clear in the group A, the requirements have been developed by state education standard, then how to determine the criteria for assessing the level of assimilation of the material for groups B and C? This is the second question and no less important problem. Speaking about student-centered learning, we should first of all be interested in such types of learning differentiation as external differentiation according to private ability, that is, according to the student's ability for certain subjects, in our case according to their ability to a foreign language. With multi-level learning, the following is achieved. The first one, students also acquire greater freedom of action. They deliberately focus on certain subjects, including a foreign language, giving them most of the attention due to the fact that in those subjects that are given to them less, they agree to the basic level. In the groups selected in this way, more favorable conditions are created for uniform progress, taking into account the individual characteristics of students. The use of the personality-oriented technology of multi-level education described here allows each student to take the most active part in cognitive activities in the classroom, to comprehend new material with the help of his or her comrades, groupmates, to independently apply the knowledge gained, not to be afraid to look black sheep. The system of credits and final tests, in addition to the system of current assessment of knowledge, ability, skills, and formed competencies, allow you to systematically track the pace of progress of each student. The student, him or herself, taking responsibility for his or her own successes and the success of his or her comrades, groupmates, gets the opportunity to plan his or her activities more freely, and such an active learning activity generates a special learning environment, which only leads to the optimization of the entire learning process. Change of psychological atmosphere in the classroom to a more benevolent and friendly one on the part of the teacher increases student motivation for learning and brings the subject-subject relation of the participants in the learning process closer to equal partnership, while the student has the right to choose a teacher as well as the level. The experience of using the technology of multi-level teaching by teachers of the Department of English seems to us effective and timely within the framework of the linguistic professional training of a modern specialist, since this type of differentiation of learning helps to make the learning process more modern, individualized, and productive. At the same time, addressing the diverse needs of multi-level learning presents challenges for the teacher and requires training experience and extra time for preparing lesson materials, teacher collaboration, program support. Lesson planning and classroom management, while time-consuming, are essential elements of a successful multi-level class. If the instructor plans activities that meet only the needs of learner, whose skills fall in the middle, those learners with the lower skills may become frustrated, and those with more advanced skills may become bored. Multi-level lesson planning must include strategies for organizing group, pair, and individual work. Now I'm going to focus on some instructional strategies for multi-level classes. First of all, needs assessment, lesson planning, grouping strategies and purposes, using native languages, project-based learning and thematic instruction, using self-access materials. Teachers can do the following to promote success in their multi-level classes. Needs assessment. Teachers must determine what each learner needs and wants to learn. Ongoing needs assessment may include standardized tests and alternative assessments, one-on-one interviews with learners, group discussions, the learner observations. The need assessment process allows students to express their individual needs and provide teachers with data and can help them adjust the content of the class to meet student needs. The second one, lesson planning. Teachers can prepare parallel lessons for learners at different levels. Planning should include strategies for managing a variety of group, pair, and individual activities. Grouping strategies and purposes. Grouping strategies are essential in a well-run multi-level class. Teachers should determine when whole group activities, small group activities, pair work, and individual work are appropriate. In addition, teachers should determine when it's best to place learners in heterogeneous groups. It's like learners with disparate skills and varying age and from different cultural groups. And when it's best to place learners in homogeneous groups, learners with similar skills, similar ages, or from similar cultural groups. Another basis by which teachers may group students is their preferred ways of learning. Teachers can draw on multi-level intelligence theory to understand the different ways their students learn and demonstrate proficiency and group the students accordingly. Using native languages. In mixed-level classes, less advanced students might fall behind if only the second language is used. When possible, teachers may use learners' native language to clarify instruction so that all students remain engaged. Additionally, teachers may ask one student to help another student who speaks the same language so that students can negotiate meaning together. Next point is project-based learning and thematic instruction. In project-based learning, learners are presented with a problem to solve or a product to develop. For example, learners may create a handbook of community resources, or they may interview employers and create a list of qualities they look for in employees. Learners working in pairs and teams can develop skills needed to plan, organize, negotiate, and arrive at consensus. Even learners at the beginning levels are able to develop these skills as they can benefit from the collaborative nature of teamwork. Projects can be organized around themes such as civic responsibility, children's education, or languages and cultures of the United States. Students can then work in groups based on their interests rather than their English proficiency levels. Teachers may use this approach, known as thematic instruction, to unify a multi-level class. When designing project-based learning activities and when grouping students in the classroom, teachers can draw cooperative learning approaches. Several recent research studies with adult English language learners have noted the benefits of cooperative learning when working with students in the workplace with non-native English-speaking community college students. Using self-access materials. Teachers can keep a collection of self-access materials in their classroom so that students can select materials and work individually. Self-access materials should include activities from all skill areas and levels, and each task should be set up so that learners need minimal, if any, assistance from the teacher to accomplish the task. Because of financial challenges, geographic context, and number of students, multi-level classes are necessary. While such classes can enhance students' English language learning experience, teachers need to be aware of special challenges they can pose. Teachers face challenges in the class preparation, classroom management. If properly managed, the multi-level classroom can provide positive learning space for everyone.